Views and opinions on the Air with Mike Allen show do not reflect the views and opinions of other shows associated with Fort Kick-Ass Productions. This show is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ha! Pulled over a little too early. Welcome back. I'm back. I know some of you are like, oh man, he's back. It's been a great journey. It's been a fun journey. Got a lot to talk about. First of all, I am not in the Radio Man Cave. The Radio Man Cave is no more. The Radio Man Cave is was sold for about 3 times what I bought it for. 16 years ago, and I owed a little bit left on it, and I paid all that off. Paid off a mortgage, and well, I'm RVing it, man. I'm in the RV lifestyle, and I'm telling you, it's interesting. It's interesting. You're gonna have a lot of stories, a lot of great people in the RV park, and a couple of crazy people in the RV park. But so far, but we'll talk about that. My transition into the RV lifestyle, and you know, going out and buying an RV, and what I ran into, and hopefully you guys won't run into that. Plus, you know, the Detroit Lions. We're at the beginning of November, and we're already we're horrible, absolutely horrible. And I have some thoughts on that. We'll get into that, and we'll talk about that, and what I think is happening with my Detroit Lions. But we're running off of everything isn't going to be all that great. So it'll go in and out intermittently, and hopefully we have a steady stream the whole time. But if it doesn't, you know, I just wanted to get back on the air and kind of, you know, I missed it. I missed it, and you know, when you do something like this, and you do when you do a show like this for as long as I've done it, this will be my ninth season. And of course, we started out audio only, and then it went into video here in the last couple of years. And we started out with a production company, and then took over production ourselves. And of course, Mike and Mad Mike and Danger Davis and Player to Be Named Later and Tiny Savage and all the players will be back. I actually purchased a vMix production key, so I'll be able to figure this thing out. And there's a way to get everybody to kind of call in. I can have up to 4 callers call in, so we're going to do that. And again, if you see our videos kind of choppy, that's because of our internet connection. I don't have the internet connection together as I would have liked it to. So we are going to work on that, of course, and get a better internet connection. The internet connection out here at the park I'm at is going to be it's going to be fiber optic. So that's going to be pretty cool with the fiber optics. But right now I got poor stream health. I think that's because I'm kind of piggybacking off my neighbors' Wi-Fi, and I really do appreciate them helping me out getting Wi-Fi. And I tell you, let's talk about the transition. So, and I know that'll probably get chopped up and made into something else, but I about 6 months ago was kind of looking at all my debt and looking at what I wanted to do as an actor and as a producer and as a filmmaker and as a podcaster and hopefully and as a content creator, and what was holding me back. Well, I had this big anchor around my neck, and the anchor was in the form of a mortgage of a home that I loved. And I built it for my family, but then my family kind of fell apart, and then the kids grew up and were gone, so I didn't need all the space, and I was going to make it into a studio, and I had a lot of plans for that. But then I had to really ask myself, what is my life goals? What do I want to do? Well, I want to be an actor. Well, there's not a whole lot going on in Austin, Texas, but there's a lot going on in Dallas, Fort Worth, where they're filming Walker. Of course, there's some productions here in Austin. Fear the Walking Dead is one that is here in Austin. And of course, most of the production is in Atlanta and it's in New Orleans. And a lot of what they need are what's called local hire. Now, local hire means that they're not going to pay for room and board. They're not going to pay for transportation out there. And if you get hired on the show, either as a series regular or a co-star for a certain amount of time, you'll have to pay for all of that lodging out of pocket. So, hey, Randy. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, it was too long. I just needed to do something. I missed it, but glad you're back. And my lines still suck. Kind of like the internet connection right now. And again, I'm not. The only reason my internet connection is not really good is it's Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi that I'm borrowing until I get my Wi-Fi installed is my neighbor here at the park, and they're a good 50 feet away. So I'm on a Microsoft Surface Go, broadcasting over Wi-Fi that's 50 feet away. Now I'm looking at the signal and I got about 4 bars. So, I mean, I've got an okay signal, but it still might be a little bit choppy. But just for everybody, I've got the new computer is bought. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a little preview. There's all the parts to the new computer right there. Just waiting to put that together. There's my fireplace. Got my fire going. Of course, it's that nice fall football weather, and so things are going to be getting better. The production value, of course, is going to get better once we get everything together. So, hang tough. Just share it, like and subscribe. We're going to try to build a bigger fan base. But anyway, back to my story. So anyway, I decided. I said, I got to do something different. I got to set myself up to reach my goals as an actor and as a performer. And one of the things I had to do is I had to decide whether or not to hold on to that house. And it was a tough decision. I sat on it for a long time, and because I built that house for me and my family, and I had plans for that house that were never realized, and because of the money or something would come up or a challenge would come up, and I could never really get enough traction going to do what I wanted. And so I had a hard decision to make, and the decision I was going to make is that I had to move on. I had to cut that loose from around my neck, use the equity that I had built up, and start over. So got all my debt paid off. Purchased a 2019 Ford F-350 Lariat. I didn't want that, but that was what was available. And we'll get into the availability of trucks and all that stuff. But it's hard to find a truck, especially a big dually, a turbo diesel dually. But I got a good deal. Covert Hutto, I tell you, they sold me that truck, and I'm probably going to go back there to buy any car I buy. They were fantastic. They knew the price was very high. They worked with me to work within my budget so I could, because I needed a truck that was going to pull a fifth wheel toy hauler. And so I did my research, but research is good, but practical application of practical knowledge and experience, you can never top that. And unfortunately, I learned some hard lessons. I'm not going to go into great detail right now because I'm still gathering information. I will tell you this though, do not go to Crestview RV in Georgetown and spend your money. I would say don't go to any Crestview, but I only had dealings with the people at Crestview RV in Georgetown, and I will tell you right now, they are not good wards of your money. They do not respect you or your time, and they will not only will they, I mean, there's no other way but to say that that they intentionally deceived me and then sold me something that's not to the quality that they charged me for. And of course, I was under no reasonable expectation that somebody would conduct themselves in such a way with such little integrity and little character. But now I know. So I'm working through that. I love the RV. I mean, it was raining, pouring down rain. I've got no leaks. It's got a brand new roof. It does have that. I don't know what else is wrong with it, and apparently neither does Georgetown uh, RV, because Georgetown RV didn't do an inspection prior to selling it to me. You know, the quality inspection that dealerships are supposed to do on used vehicles. Like when you go in and it says, oh, you know, we got certified used vehicles. We put it through a 57,000 seat, whatever inspection. It's going to be good to go, because it would be my understanding. It's a reasonable It's a reasonable expectation from a consumer and from the capitalistic system that we live in, that a supplier or a retail office or retail store, especially with big ticket items, it would be reasonable to assume that their goal would not be to sell me an RV that day, but to sell me my next RV. If you understand what I'm saying. If I'm a big ticket retail store and I sell RVs, and RVs are already, they're paper thin. I mean, they're built, and they're RVs. I mean, they're built for weight. They're built, you know, you bump into a wall. All these walls are real, you know, that's just wood. That's, I mean, and I get that. It's not 2x4s and drywall. You know, I get that. But I have a reasonable expectation to believe that if I'm buying something from a big ticket store like that, that they would do diligence in making sure that the product that they're selling me at the price they're selling me would meet the standards of the price and the standards of their business practices. And that just didn't happen. So I'm in the process right now of going through the state and for the lemon laws and the Better Business Bureau, and coming out of pocket to make sure the thing is safe to drive. You know, I don't want to be pulling it down the road and have my wheels fall off. But anyway, as that progresses, as that drama with Crestview RV in Georgetown plays out, and once I find out where I'm going legally and everything else, we'll have a full story on that. And I told them I'd make them famous, because I will give you this. You know, if you're going to tell me that you went through this huge inspection to make sure everything was okay, and that you did the pressure test on the water stuff, and that you did a pressure test on the sewage stuff, and you did electrical test and everything, make sure you at least put a new battery in it. Because that's the very first thing I had to do, is buy a brand new battery, because the battery I rolled off the lot with was dead. And if you're going to tell me with a straight face that you did pressure checks on the integrity of the water system and the plumbing system in my van, at least clean out the black tank. That's right, Crestview RV in Georgetown sold me a used 2018 Forest River Vengeance, which is a very nice trailer. I like it. It's got the fireplace I already showed you. It's got nice wood. I like it. I like the RV. But I have no faith that it's good, because I rolled off their lot with a black tank to solve the problem, or to take responsibility for what they did. All benefit Crestview RV. They don't benefit me at all. Matter of fact, it's more financial burden to me and or inconvenience. So anyway, that's just the tip of the iceberg there. But as far as living in an RV, I mean, I like it. I mean, I can clean the whole thing in like 10 minutes. I did a workaround with my washer and dryer, so I got that hanging out the back. But it works, and I'm happy with it. I'm okay with it. And I've got Radar over here. Is just give her a little look here. Say, hi, Radar. Hey, Papa Dog. She's figuring out stairs. Because she didn't figure out stairs were kind of a hard thing for her, because we lived in a one-story house, so I didn't have any stairs. So getting in and out of the RV, and then there's a short stairwell up into where the bedroom area is, and of course she sleeps in the bed with me. She's been sleeping in the bed with me since she was a pup. So, but just all the stairs climbing up and down, she's gotten used to that. First couple of nights were kind of rough, but she's got her spot on the couch down there, and she's figuring it out. So she doesn't have a big backyard to roam around, but we do. The RV park that I'm at is a beautiful RV park. It's very quiet. It's not an RV resort. Now there's a difference. An RV park is just where you go park. It's got some amenities. but most of them are just, they could be anywhere from a parking lot, like a couple that I looked up by Hutto. I was trying to stay close to Hutto, or this one, which I ran into out here in Leander, and it's back in the woods. It's quiet. We're surrounded by cedar, so I got some shade. Don't have shade on the side that I want shade on. Probably should have moved over one lot. If I could do it over again, instead of lot 22, I'd be in lot 23. But it's got, but we're right on the south fork of the San Gabriel River, so we can walk down to the river, and the river's got that limestone bed on the bottom. So when it was real hot this summer, I took my shoes off and Radar when I went and walked in the river, and so it's a very nice park, and of course you meet all the people in the park, and I would say that. I wouldn't say that the trailer park, what is it? God, what's the word I'm thinking of? God dang it, just flew out of my head. The impression of a trailer park is not quite accurate. Because a lot of people have embraced the RV lifestyle. They've given up on their mortgages. They don't want to pay property taxes. And the big thing is if you want to move, or if you want to move, you just pick up and move. If you're tired of being in one spot, or you got a spot somewhere else, or you don't like your neighbors, or for whatever reason you don't want to stay, you don't have to stay. You just hook up and go. So it's and a lot of people are doing that because a lot of people are working from home. There's a couple here at the park I'm at now, great couple. Actually have two fifth wheels, and he works from home. And man, they go to the coast on the weekends and come back, and they got a setup here, and they're comfortable, and it's very minimalistic, obviously, because you can't have a huge house full of furniture and stuff like that. I'm sitting on a couch right now that's got massage, and it's heated, and it's all sorts of cool. They're comfortable. Now I've got what's called a toy hauler, which means it has a garage in the back. And once I get everything cleaned out, and maybe next week I'm going to get things more organized as I build the Flamethrower 2 for the Mobile Man Cave Studios. I'll do a walkthrough. I'll clean up everything and make sure my bed's made, and I'll do a walkthrough of the RV outside and inside. Maybe even do a video on. You know what? I'll do a video on that. That way I can edit it and make it look kind of cool during the day, and I'll play that during the show. Kind of show you what I'm doing and show you how where I'm living at. But I think it's awesome. I think it's a lot of fun. And again, it's different than a house for sure, big time. So, but that's where I'm at now. That is where I am at now. And yeah, welcome back. Now, vMix is what we used before, and if you can see the graphics down here, these are the old graphics that I had, and I'm going to play with these a little bit and get them set up. And it says Season 9, Episode 1 right there, but I was just kind of playing with that. I never did. I never labeled my episodes, so I have no idea how many episodes I've done. I know I've been doing this since 2012. 2012 to 2017 was audio only, and then from 17 to present, we're on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, so I know on YouTube we have all of them. So I'm thinking, since it's my 9th year next year, January 1, we're going to start Season 9, Episode 1. So don't pay attention to that down there. I was just playing with the graphics, getting ready for this, because this is a patchwork throw together type situation here. I don't have any graphics loaded up. I couldn't find the video for the beginning, so I just kind of played it into the microphone off another thing, and so it's very throw together. But I'm glad to be back broadcasting again, and that's really what this whole thing is I just wanted to get back on the air because I missed it. So. But I'm glad everybody's back. I'm glad people are coming. If you're coming for the first time, if you're just checking it out, please like and subscribe. we're going to have a lot of good stories from the trailer park, a lot of excitement out here, a lot of great people. It's a lifestyle, and a lifestyle has a certain type of people, and those folks are so far the community that I've been accepted into out here at this RV park. It wasn't what I was expecting. I got contacted almost right before I even came out to the park. I was contacted and added to a group chat, so everybody's connected with a group chat. Everybody kind of knows when people are at work or here. I'm usually here during the day. So if I see somebody at somebody's trailer that they're not home, everybody gets on there. Hey, do you know this guy? Or hey, someone's at your trailer, or someone's at this, and so there's a lot of communication back and forth. We did have a little bit of an incident yesterday, which I missed because I went to work, but everybody kind of comes together, and it's a true. Let's put it this way: I lived in my house in Hutto for 16 years. And I only got to know one neighbor, and that was Jonas Smith, who was my first neighbor. And I've been in a trailer park now for a little over a week, and I know pretty much everybody in the park. And we say hi to each other. Everybody knows Radar. I know their dogs. The guy that runs it, his name's Bruce. He's very nice. Kind of an old curmudgeon type dude, but he's old country, and he's real nice and communicates well. To me anyway, but I don't see, and he seems to be on top of it. They're still building out. I'm in the new part of the park. They got, let's see, it would be the east side and the west side. So I'm west side, west side. But yeah, I'm on the west side of the park, and yeah, it's kind of cool. But let's talk about the Detroit Lions. Bobby Layne got traded away from the Detroit Lions back in 1958, and he made the following statement: the Detroit Lions will never win another championship. He was mad because they got him traded away. Of course, they won the championship in '57, and pretty much it was them in the Cleveland Browns through that whole era that were just wrecking shop. So Bobby Layne made that statement. They call it the Bobby Layne curse. Well, it's 2021. We're 0-7. And I just want to say, as a Lions fan, and as a lifelong Lions fan, and as somebody who has been watching the Lions my whole life, and who had great expectations for this year, and who would have liked to see the Lions improve or get better, or at least give us some indication that, we're not going to suck anymore. And I would just like to say from the bottom of my heart, fuck you, Bobby Layne. You and your curse. We're horrible. I mean, we're bad. I see why Matthew Stafford left. I think we've wasted three Hall of Fame careers now. Or more, with just the ineptitude that the Lions organization exists. I don't understand how. It's hard for me to understand how an organization can just not even try. They can say they're trying, but they're not trying. There's no way. You cannot be this bad for this long and say that you're trying to put together a championship team. One playoff win since 1957. One. Calvin Johnson got drafted the year Tom Brady won his second Super Bowl. He played an entire career, retired, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame the year Tom Brady won his last Super Bowl. And Calvin Johnson, arguably one of the greatest receivers in NFL history, will never know what it's like to win a Super Bowl because he wasted his career with my team. I mean, it's almost like I want my cryptocurrency just to go nuts, so I become a billionaire and buy the Detroit Lions to get it out from underneath the Ford family, to then I don't know. I mean, I can't do any worse than what they're doing. You know, I possibly could do better. Yeah, you're right. Gary Danielson, Eric Hipple, Charlie Ward. I mean, it doesn't matter who the. It's like it's the Lions. Well, it's almost like the ownership doesn't care. They just want to do enough to get fans to continue to buy tickets, and that's the thing. The fans deserve a champion. The city of Detroit deserves a champion. The state of Michigan deserves a champion. I mean, back when I went to the Silverdome, when I was growing up as a kid, the Silverdome, I mean, that was packed. It was absolutely packed. And that would hold like 56,000 or 57,000. It was packed to the rafters every Sunday. Silver and blue. Back then it was a big blue duster. Back in the 80, I want to say 79, 79 and 80, it was a big blue duster. Billy Sims was the running back. I think Gary Danielson was their quarterback. I might have them mixed up. Doug English was on defense. I mean, we had a great team, and they couldn't win a playoff game. And then it wasn't until '95 that they had that 14-2 season, and everybody thought, this is it. Finally, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. We played the Dallas Cowboys in the first round and beat them, and went to the NFC champion or the NFC divisional game and got beat. And that was the only playoff win that we've had since 1957. And that's, I mean, I posted a video on my story that I had found on TikTok, where this guy, it's one of those, what would you do videos where a guy busts in and says, if I busted in your house, what would you do? And it's a guy dressed like Jesus, and he busts in and he says, if I busted in your house, what would you do? And this guy basically says, you turn this water into wine, and then what does your dad have against us, the Detroit Lions? Because it's got to be biblical now. There's no way. I mean, you cannot be that bad for that long. I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, they're bad. There's 4 teams in the NFL that have never played in the Super Bowl. They never even made it to the game. There's only 4. Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans, because they're brand spanking new. And the other 2 are the Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions. The only 4 NFL franchises never to have even played in the Super Bowl. Every other team in the NFL has at least been to the Super Bowl. They might not have won it, but they at least went. We've never even been. We hadn't even won a playoff game, but won. What would I do if I buy the team? Well, I'll tell you what I would do. I would, first of all, I'd surround myself with people that know more about the game than I. Hey, Jesse, how you doing? Yeah, I made 3 times what I made on my house, and cut all my expenses down, and now I'm mobile. Now I can move around where I want to. It's kind of cool. So I would get people that know football, that know more about it than me, and I'd just be the owner. Robert Kraft has the right formula for owning an NFL franchise. Robert Kraft writes the checks, and he hires people that know the game, that want to build championships, and then he just writes the checks. He lets everybody else do the work. So it's awesome. He had a dynasty for 20 years. He had a dynasty. And so right now they got the Ford family that owns the Lions, and they're horrible wards. Absolutely horrible. Because they don't they don't care enough to build a team that's going to win championships. That's it. I put it squarely on the Fords. It's kind of like the exact opposite of the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have Jerry Jones, who's too involved in screwing things up. So now you have Jerry Jones, who does too much, and you have the Detroit Lions, who don't do anything to win a championship. They don't even try to win a championship. So, I mean, you have to get to the point where you have to put together something, starting at the front office, starting with ownership, so that the ownership needs to get the proper people in place to build a championship NFL franchise. So, there you go. The Detroit Lions, you got the Michigan Wolverines. And it's, Michigan won a national championship back in the late 90s. Well, they split it with Nebraska, but that's back when they had a really good quarterback. Bob Greasy's boy, Brian Greasy, was the quarterback, and Lloyd Carr was the coach, and they had a great season. And then, of course, the year that they were supposed to win it all again, we dropped one to Appalachian State. And I think 7 years ago, me and everybody else was very excited that Jim Harbaugh, who was the quarterback at Michigan, was coming back to be the head coach. He had success at Stanford, brought Stanford back to prominence, and also took San Francisco to the Super Bowl. Didn't win it. Played against his brother in the Super Bowl. That was the Brother Bowl, they call it. And so we all thought he was a great coach. Couldn't wait to get it. It was exciting to have him back at Michigan. And on the outside, if you were to look at the program and its records and everything that's happened in his tenure as head coach, you would think he's doing a great job. We had 3 or 4 10-win seasons in there, won some bowl games. But here's the problem. In the 7 years he's been the coach at Michigan, we haven't beaten Ohio State. If you're a Michigan fan, if you go to Michigan, if you're affiliated with Michigan in any way, shape, or form, there's one school that you do not lose to. And that's Ohio State. That's Ohio State. So, if you're the head coach of the football team, which is the front porch of the school, which is it's got the biggest stadium. They have the most fans that go watch them play, more than basketball, more than hockey, more than football, or more than baseball. Each school has a football stadium that in the big house holds more people than any other stadium in the country. And it's packed on Saturday. It's packed. There's really only one game that's important. And that is Ohio State. And he is 0-7 against Ohio State. Hopefully this year he won't be 0-8. He's 0-6. So this is the 7th year. He's 0-6. So in 3 weeks he plays Ohio State. And you lost to Michigan State. You have a losing record against them. The last time we played Notre Dame, we got beat by them, so we got a losing record against that rivalry. The two other rivalries outside of the biggest rivalry in sports. I mean, you cannot lose that game. You cannot lose that game. And I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't know why he wasn't fired 3 years ago, to be honest with you, after going 0-4 against Ohio State. And not just going 0-4 against Ohio State, but getting skull drug by Ohio State. Not even close. I mean, the first game we played against Ohio State, we were on a 3-game losing streak, and it went into overtime. I'm like, that's how that game's supposed to be played. I was okay with that. Losing to Ohio State in overtime. I mean, losing to them sucks, but you know, you just, God, man, that was tough. But then the next 6 years, 5 years, you're getting smoked. I mean, beat down. I mean, that game used to be the game. That was the game of the year. You get all the way down to the end of the game, the end of the season. It usually came down to one team or the other was having a really good year, probably, and it came down to whoever won that game was the Big Ten championship and went to the Rose Bowl. And it always came down to Michigan and Ohio State, always. And that was the big game. I mean, it was bigger than the Super Bowl in some aspects. And we'd have a big party and the barbecue in Michigan, Ohio State, and it would be a big deal. Because whoever won that game usually was the Big Ten champions before they had the playoffs and all that stuff. They were the Big Ten champion, and they went on to the Rose Bowl, which was, and that was when the Big Ten and Pac-12 were the only two schools that played in the Rose Bowl every year. Now they got this bowl champions, just everybody plays in it. But it used to be just Pac-10 and Big Ten and Pac-12. So you got to win that game. And I can't speak to all the Michigan fans out there, but I will tell you this: you can go 0-8, but you got to win that one game, and that makes the whole season. That makes the whole season. So, are they going to beat them this year? I don't know. Ohio State's kind of down. They lost to Purdue, so they're beatable. I mean, they're still ranked pretty high. God, it's in Michigan, I think. I think this year it's in Michigan. I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to be home watching it. Yeah. I mean, he should have been out a while ago. Got to beat Michigan State. Got to beat Michigan State. So, oh, Jesse, I still have my same YouTube channel. And it seems you haven't learned your lesson, so game on. And as far as going anywhere, you're right, I'm going somewhere. I'm going everywhere. I am mobile. Which means I can go anywhere. So back to the RV thing. I'm going to get off of Michigan and Detroit. They're just too depressing. Back to the RV thing. As far as a decision I made getting into an RV, I love it. I'm single. I got a dog. I don't need a big house. I love it. So when I get a job, say in New Orleans, as a local hire, I can just pick up and go. Just pick up and go to New Orleans, and work as a local hire. Or I can go to Dallas Fort Worth if they're shooting a TV show up there for 3 weeks. I can just pick up and go park up there and go to work and just take my home with me. So you're right. I did go somewhere. I went anywhere I want. It's pretty cool. I just got to make sure this thing is safe. But if I could go back in time, I wouldn't do business with that RV dealership. But overall, if I can get this thing to where I'm comfortable that it's safe, or that at least I can fix whatever's wrong with it. And from what I've seen, RVs are pretty simple. They're not really all that technically hard to figure out. So anything that goes wrong, there's a YouTube channel on it or a YouTube video, and I can go in there and I can figure it out. I mean, I kept the house going for 16 years and did most of the work myself. So RVs aren't that much different. They're just a little more fragile. You don't want to be bumping into a wall, or you can't hang pictures really all that much because it's thin, but that's how that goes. Last but not least, what were we going to talk about? There's one more thing. Oh, we recently had a shooting on a movie set, and I wanted to address that because I wanted to address that because as a gun owner and as a Second Amendment advocate and as an actor, I think it's important to understand that what happened on that set is something that happened on that set. It's not anything that I don't think it's prevalent. The sets I've worked on where we've used guns, they were all real guns, and of course, the protocol on those sets was adhered to. The number one protocol is you don't have any live ammo on the set anywhere. There's no need for it. There's no need to shoot live ammo on a set. And if a scene, if a shot calls for the discharge of live ammo, that's done in a totally different environment. So you never have live ammo on the set. But all the guns that are used in movies, like Matrix comes to mind, but all the guns that are used in the movies are real guns. I know that was thrown around the word prop gun. A prop gun is totally different than the guns that are used to actually discharge blanks to get the effect of of shooting live ammo, or that's not a prop gun. A prop gun is a representation, or it looks like a real gun, but there's no mechanical, nothing works. It's like a model of a gun. A lot of prop guns are used for extras. They carry them in their holsters. Like if you have a scene with a bunch of cops and they all got pistols, chances are all those pistols in that scene are prop guns. So, and a prop gun doesn't shoot. It's plastic. It looks real. It's made up to look like it's real, but it's not a real gun. The guns that are discharged, especially the automatics, for instance, Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon, when he's shooting that 9mm Beretta, that's a real 9mm Beretta. Now what they do is they take the barrel of the real gun and they put in a barrel that's rigged to shoot blank cartridges, and it restricts the gas flow to let a little bit of the gases out to give the impression that a bullet has left the front of the gun, and it gives it enough restriction to cycle the bullet through as if the bullet was going out the barrel. If you understand how a semi-automatic or a semi-automatic reloading mechanism works, it works from the gases of the expended rounds. So the rounds going out the tube, the gases are fed down a vent hole, which pushes a plunger back towards the rear, which moves the slide to the rear, and that cycles through the next round into the gun. The guns on the set of Rust were all real, and when you shoot a Western, all those guns are real, the ones that they actually shoot, but they shoot blanks. Now a wheel gun is different than an automatic pistol, because an automatic pistol has to have that cycle that goes through. I don't know if this is live or not. Are we live? Are we live, Radar? I think we're live. I don't know. Who knows? This is actually filmed next Thursday, so you're watching next Thursday's show. But with a wheel gun, you don't need that. You don't need any special barrel. You just don't put a live round in it. You put a blank in it. Now, on a movie set, you have, when you're shooting a movie that involves firearms, there's always one person that's on that set that's designated the armorer, and they are in charge of all the weapons. Now, I know the debate has been going back and forth. It was every time you pick up a weapon, you got to check it and you got to clear it. And every time you do it, and yes, that is true. Every time you pick up a weapon in the real world, or anytime you own weapons, when you pick it up and look at it, you should make sure it's unloaded and safe. On a movie set, that's different, because we are creating the illusion of someone firing and using a gun and firing a gun and shooting somebody. So when the scene is laid out, when they block the scene, and they have the gun, they have a prop gun, or just a lot of times you just use your fingers. They'll block the scene, and they have all the shots that they're going to shoot. When they shoot the gun, they block it so they know when they're going to shoot. And then when they get ready to shoot the scene, the armorer prepares the pistol, loads it, and hands it to the actor, who then puts it in a holster. The actor doesn't have to check it and load it and clear it because the gun is set up for the scene. And there's a confidence that the armor has prepared the gun for that scene. So he gives the real gun that's rigged with blanks to the actor, who sticks it in a holster or sticks it in a shoulder holster, or if they start out with him holding it, up, and everything's set. Now, what happened on Rust? One, the armorer, I don't think, had a lot of experience from what I'm understanding. She was very young, and may have been just given the title so that they could, she might have been set up for failure, to be honest with you. Because being an armorer on a set, that is your only job. You don't do anything else. You don't go get cables from the truck. You don't go help them unload the craft services, the food. You do the armorer's job, and that's it. That's all you do, is the armorer's job. And what happened on the set of Rust is and just, as the stories are coming out, I'm not really sure. I can't speak to the condition of the set or the morale of the set or anything like that, but it was said that some folks had walked off because they were concerned about safety. And so that might have been a concern. So what happened with that situation, from what I understand, is that a gun was left unattended. First, there was live ammo on the set, which never should happen. The gun was left unattended by the armor. It was out of the control of the armor and left on a cart. The scene that they were shooting, I don't think they were going to shoot the scene, but they were blocking the scene. And an assistant director or assistant producer, an AD, saw the gun on the cart, recognized it as, no, this isn't live. This isn't live right now. I'm not live. No, actually, I recorded this 3 weeks ago, and I'm just now playing this. I just got around to it. I was moving into an RV, I had stuff to do, so I just didn't have the time to shoot a live show tonight, guys. So I recorded this 3 weeks ago, and I just uploaded it tonight. So hope that helps. So anyway, when Alec Baldwin, who should have known better, got handed that gun from somebody other than the armorer, that's two things that went wrong. Well, three things at this point. Live ammo on a set, the armorer had lost control of the gun, and an actor accepted a gun from someone other than the armorer. So that's three things right there that went wrong. And I think they were in the process of blocking the shot, because even when you're shooting blanks, when you got those cool shots where you're shooting at the camera, like the James Bond, when they shoot at the camera, nobody is ever sitting behind the camera when it's getting shot at. Does that make sense? And they got like a plexiglass to catch the wadding from the blank, especially with the wheel guns, because there's no restrictor. But there's usually nobody around the camera when you're shooting at the camera for the effect, for the shot. So from what this might change. This information might change. I might do it when I go live next week for real, instead of not being live this week. He didn't think the gun was loaded. It was handed to him by someone under the armor, and that person that handed it to him told him it was cold, which means it wasn't loaded. It wasn't hot, which means it wasn't ready to fire. And when he pulled the trigger to set up the shot, they were just kind of blocking the shot. That's when it went off. And it went through the shoulder of the director and into the head of the cinematographer, who unfortunately lost her life. So a lot of things went wrong. One, the armor wasn't in control of the weapon. That's number one. Two, they had live ammunition on the set. You should never have live ammunition on the set when you're shooting a movie. Ever. Three, somebody other than the armor handed the gun to the actor, who accepted it. and then he pulled the trigger on a gun that had missed all these other steps towards people. So, yeah, a lot of things went wrong, and it's sad because now what's being said is that we need to get rid of all guns on set. What's the show? The Rookie with Nathan Fallon says we're not going to use any more guns on set. Well, it's a cop show. So now, I mean, I can see that. Depending on what you're doing, I know that I kind of lose a little bit of the realism when you're using CGI, especially when it's done badly, like with The Walking Dead. When they're shooting weapons on The Walking Dead, that's CGI that's done extremely bad, and as somebody that's watching the show, I lose that sense of fantasy story, because I get sidetracked by the fact that it's bad CGI. But with the advent of CGI and the advent of all those types of things, I think it'd be, and there might even be an industry of making realistic guns that actually are incapable of shooting live ammunition, and that would have, and of course, all these things can be talked about, and I don't think any of it should be taken off the table, especially when it comes to the safety of the actors that are on the show. But hey, I just wanted to get back on the air. I missed it. Got the trolls are back. He didn't learn his lesson, so I guess I'm just going to have to double down with that. But, all I got's time. I don't care. I just don't care. But hey, big life change, Mobile Man Cave. I've got the computer right here in front of me. I'm looking at all the parts. Just got to slap that together. So production will get better. It'll get back to what it used to be, and then maybe more. We're going to have it set up so that all the co-hosts can come on. vMix has a way that you can call in and be a part of the show. I can get them in here so they don't have to actually come to the studio. They can sit at home, comfortable like I am, with my massage chair, and drink and do whatever, and they don't have to drive afterwards. So, but yeah, I'm excited. It's got a big toy hauler. I'm looking at a motorcycle. Probably gonna have a motorcycle when it's done. Got a big truck outside, big Ford F-350 dually, turbo diesel that pulls it. And once I get through, if you go back to the beginning of the show and kind of watch what I'm going through with the RV dealership, but I learned a lot of good lessons with that. The number one lesson is don't ever expect. Well, see, that's not fair though. So you should have a level of expectation that you'll be treated like a valued customer. So, and if you're not treated like a valued customer, then the capitalist system needs to self-correct, and businesses like that need to go out of business, to be honest with you. So, this was fun. It was good to be back on the air again. It really is. And I'm going to leave the comments up. I want you to see that guy. He's an internet bully. He's the guy that everybody talks about. They want to go after internet bullies. He's an internet bully. And once I realized he was harmless and just basically a nuisance, what are you going to do? Go back on the air? Maybe next week we'll be live. This pre-recorded stuff, it's kind of cool. I pre-recorded it 3 weeks ago. When was it, Jesse, 3 weeks ago? I'm having fun, and that's all that matters. And I hope you guys come along and have fun too. Like and subscribe, share, and as we move forward, next week I'll be right back. It might be on the Surface Go. I'm going to try to get the computer together, at least get a camera up or two in the new performance space, and who knows? I might be in Louisiana next month, or I might be shooting something in Atlanta, and a lot of fun stuff's going to happen. I'm getting footage together for a series I'm going to call Notes from the Man Van, where I'll visit cool attractions or food trucks or places to eat and kind of do a little 10-minute or 5-minute expose on that business, and then play them during the show so people can kind of get a taste of wherever I'm at and just have fun creating. And this is my outlet. I do this for fun. And if it ends up making a little money down the way, that's fine. If only 2 or 3 people show up, I don't care. I'm just here for the fun. So, you know what? God, it's just good to be back on the air. It's just good. It feels good. Feels great. And I'll have more stories because now I live in an RV. So, trailer parks. I'm going to get a lot of good stories, a lot of great people so far that I've run into. Fantastic people, helpful, neighborly, and just a nice community. But I'll expand on that too. Just kind of give you a little peek into the RV lifestyle and RV living. But I don't have my theme musics or my videos up because I haven't. They're still on the hard drives that I haven't installed in the other computer. But maybe I'll work on a little bit something for next week. But thanks for stopping by, Alan. Thank you for stopping by. Idiot. And we'll see you next week. I'm Mike Allen. This is the Mobile Man Cave. And you have been on the air. We'll see you next week.